What's going on, MFFLs? I am Jeffrey Cooperstein, and this is Mavericks Today. Welcome Klay Thompson, Quentin Grimes, and Naji Marshall to the Dallas Mavericks. On today's show, we're going to just take a look at some takeaways from the introductory press conference as those three guys introduce themselves to Dallas and to the Mavericks faithful. But if you want more Mavericks videos like this, go ahead and hit that thumbs up icon. My bosses told me we had to get at least 300 likes on today's show for me to do a video tomorrow. So I need you guys to help me out. Help me, help you, help you, help me. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up icon. Isn't this just a beautiful sight? Mavericks assistant GM Michael Finley, alongside Klay Thompson, Naji Marshall, and Quentin Grimes. Klay wearing that number 31. He said he chose 31 because of the likes of Jason Terry and Reggie Miller and Nick Van Exel, who wore it back in the day for the Mavericks. I think it's a fascinating number for Klay to wear, although I do think it should be retired. But like I said earlier in another video this week, if there's one person that should wear 31, it is Klay Thompson. And before we get into the takeaways, I just want to take a look at what Klay said about joining the Mavericks. He said, "Sometimes change can spur greatness. I'm very grateful for my time in Golden State. Dallas was so attractive for the players they have and the style of play. A beautiful city who loves their hoops. I saw myself fitting in really well with the team and personnel." And I completely agree. I think he's going to fit in seamlessly. Let's just get right into the takeaways here. Nico Harrison wasn't even at the press conference. It was Michael Finley that was from the Mavericks front office. That was the brass in charge, so to speak, was answering questions on behalf of the Mavericks front office personnel. I thought that was interesting. I figured that Harrison would want to be a part of this press conference, considering he's the one that kind of architected all these moves. Finley was a part of the meeting, though, as he outlined with Klay and Kyrie out there in Hermosa Beach, California. So I guess it was important to have Finley there as well, but I was just surprised that Nico wasn't present at this intro presser. Number two, and I think this is a little more important than Nico not being there, which is really not a big deal. I think it's clear that Luka attracts talent. These guys all stated that Luka was the reason they wanted to be here. They know that he's one of, if not the best player in the world, and they wanted to be on a team that they know is going to have a chance to win a championship. Klay talked about the looks that he's going to get from Luka. He knows that if he's standing in the corner and Luka gets dribble penetration, that Luka will find him. That will not be a problem. And the spacing on the floor with Luka and with Quentin Grimes, who's a good three-point shooter as well. Naji Marshall's going to find more open looks than he did last year with the Pelicans, and we'll see if he gets more volume. These guys want to play with the best players, and Luka and Kyrie are clearly two of the best players in the NBA. And I think Luka, despite him not wanting to be an active recruiter in NBA free agency, I do think he attracts talent. And Klay mentioned that once Klay decided to join the Mavericks, Luka texted him and said how pumped he was to have him in the squad. So I do believe that Luka attracts talent, and I think we can put those rumors to bed of that nobody wants to play with Luka. They clearly got Klay Thompson and Naji Marshall to come play here, so I think we can put that one to bed. Let me know what you guys think, though, down in the comment section. Is Luka the best player in the NBA? Type Y for yes, type N for no. You guys already know what I think. I think it's an obvious yes. You can say Jokic, you can say Giannis. Give me our guy 77. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So when you get hit with a YouTube ad break, go on down there and get your votes in. Another takeaway that I had is I think Klay Thompson is really motivated to join this Dallas Mavericks team. He sounded like a guy who had some unfinished business. Even though he's won 4 titles in Golden State, I think people were kind of writing him off as a guy who's completely washed and just really can't play at a high level anymore. And I think he's very eager to prove those people wrong. Here's one of the things that he said. He said he looks forward to being rejuvenated here in Dallas, and he has a lot of basketball left in the tank. And I kind of agree. He had a down year last year and shot 39% from 3 on 9 attempts. Like, come on. He's the second greatest shooter of all time next to his former splash brother in Steph Curry. And here's a little more about what he said on what he brings to the table, especially on the offensive end. He goes, "At this point, still can't leave me open. I know I can help this team, whether it's the knowledge I've gained or big scoring nights. I know I can be a very, very good player in this league." And I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was a time, it was 6-7 years ago at the height of Klay Thompson's powers, where he had that insane 37-point third quarter against the Mavericks, and Klay talked about that. He was like, "It was a good night for me." I think he took 11 total dribbles in that game too. He was absolutely unconscious, and I don't think we're going to get a night like that from Klay Thompson here in a Mavericks uniform, but seeing a guy who can, once he sees it go in, it might just be one of those special nights. It'll be awesome to see in a Mavericks uniform especially. Kyrie was key to all of these recruitments. I think all of the young guys and Klay looks up to Kyrie especially. Klay and Kyrie came into the league together in 2011. Kyrie was the number 1 overall pick, I believe, of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and then Klay was a lottery pick as well by the Dubs. And these guys know each other. They're signed to the same shoe brand at Anta, which I think is an underrated part of the recruitment there. And Klay talked about how in the meeting, Kyrie really didn't talk about basketball fit. He talked about how the Mavericks were a family, how Klay could just fit right into the culture and help be a veteran leader on this team. Kyrie was more on the off-court stuff, while they did talk about on-court stuff as well. It was really like the spiritual and the off-court leadership stuff that Kyrie talked about. And Klay said that Kyrie and him are good friends. Been a fan of Kyrie's game, and guarding him was hell, so it's nice to be on the other end of that for once. This Mavericks team is going to be so lethal on the offensive end. You have Kyrie, who is maybe the best ball handler of all time. You have Luka, who is the best offensive player in the game right now. And then you have Klay Thompson, who's going to be out there just shooting threes like it's nobody's business. They might be the number 1 offense in the NBA next year, and I just cannot wait to see this team in action. And that brings me to my last one. Is the season here yet? We have to wait till October to see this team in action. I mean, come on. I know we get Summer League next week, but that's not watching these guys. I'm excited to see Omax, and I'm excited to see other guys participate in the Summer League, but I just want to watch these guys hoop, man. That's all I want to see. This team is going to be so fun to watch, and I really believe that they have a chance to do something really special. I think this team has a chance to win an NBA championship, and having to wait till October is just pure pain. With Luka getting healthy, hopefully you have another offseason of Kyrie. You have Klay Thompson, who said after the press conference he was going to go into the gym downstairs by the Mavericks locker room. The Mavs have a little auxiliary gym in the American Airlines Center. I think Klay said he was going to get some shots up after the presser. So that's awesome. These guys are ready to work, and they're ready to play for each other, and I think they're ready to sacrifice all towards to work that ultimate goal, which is get over the hump and win the second NBA championship in franchise history. And Klay is going to be a huge part of that. And as we didn't really even talk about Naji Marshall and Quentin Grimes, who I think are going to play pretty significant roles on this team, Naji Marshall especially. I'm very excited to see what he brings. We know he's going to be an absolute dog on the offensive end. I have some notes here, so excuse me for looking down. But Naji said, his MO is toughness and defense, and he's just ready to pick up the slack where it left off with Derrick Jones. And I think he's going to do that and then some. He's going to provide a little different dynamic than Jones did, and I can't wait to see that. And then Grimes as well. He's going to be a very good 3-and-D guy for this team. The more open looks you get, the better, and this team is just going to be so exciting to watch. I really can't wait for October. It needs to get here soon. I'm kind of freaking out now. The Rangers are bad. I'm ready for basketball to start, man. I'm just ready. If you guys made it to the end of the video, though, spam MFFL down in the comments. I know you guys are excited as I am to see this team in action. And please, again, be sure to hit that thumbs up icon. I don't want to get in trouble with my bosses, so please help me get to 300 likes on today's show. And we'll come back tomorrow with another episode of Mavericks Today.